Hey guys, I just wanted to show off this Nessie pill Konpeito strategy. I think it's really overpowered. I've been running it a ton in Arena, and I get mostly wins. Uh, Sometimes you can low roll and lose, but let's just get into it. Um, so this is my pack here. The idea is you can play a lot of tempo early game into like getting a ton of XP pets onto your Nessie. So you see Flytrap, Flounder, Blobfish, they're all going to get XP onto this Nessie, and you're going to rush like level 3 Nessie. Um, and then you also need some sort of gold gen uh, to get 14 rolls onto your Nessie, because that's how many rolls you need at level 3 Nessie to pill it and get a 50-50. Let's just let the gameplay speak. So Um, my tier ones are basically going to be mostly sell pets to play for elk. That's one of the forms of gold gen we have in this pack. There's also Swan and Bigfoot, but they're not as used because, well, they just aren't that good. I also run Stoat. I think Stoat is quite good. You can sell it on turn 5 and instantly get Hamster 3 or Nessie 3. Uh, so because the tier 5s are so strong, you want to play around getting all your tier ups on that tier. This is kind of weird. Like if I have a tier up on turn 5, I will just take a tier 4. Especially if I have a sell pet on board, I'll try to hit elk. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine to just hold the tier up until turn 7. You can tell, like I'm freezing avocados and stuff. A lot of these early rounds, they are like even though the pack is centered around certain amounts of tempo, it's still hard to win these early turns. Just try to keep as many lives as possible. Ideally, um, like 3 lives on turn 9, or 3 to 2 lives is usually where you want to be. Um, in this game, I do get luckier than that. So we get a really nice spot here. We tier up into early hamster, which lets us be able to like pro cycle and such onto this hamster and get this guy leveled as soon as possible. Basically, you need levels on both Nessie and hamster for the most part. You can also play Yeti instead of hamster, but obviously that's harder as Yeti is a tier 6 while this is a tier 5. I do get the win here. And we're generating 3 gold a turn. We're like freezing avocados, we're freezing crows. We're just trying to hold as much gold and XP into the next turn. So by this point, our team is pretty horrible. It's going to be hard to contest these turns. Um, I guess that turn was contestable, but hard to see that. Hit Kappa, not really what we want, but this is a 25 gold turn. Yeah. Also, Stoat's pretty good because you can just cycle it on tier 5 and you have 2 hits. It just gives you even better odds. Pillbug, of course, is in the... Oh, I... You're not supposed to skip Pterodon, by the way. You need... after you pill your Nessie, you want to keep your level 3 Nessie, so you either have a Pterodon or a Mushroom to keep that unit. Oh, okay. Hello? Okay, that was a little weird. Yeah. As you can see, this game is a little bit more high roll. considering how many hamsters I hit. And having that elk with a level 3 is pretty lucky. Yep. As you can see here, I don't get punished. I get my Pterodon back. And yeah. Sometimes if you do high roll hard enough, you can just win turns 9 and 10 just by getting rolls on a level 2 Nessie. So turn 10, we get Nessie 3. This is probably the earliest I've had the setup. Usually you're not getting level 3 Nessie with 14 rolls on turn 10, but yeah. And we can see here, this is pretty damn good. And you can see the second Nessie in battle all still spawns as a 50-50 because they're separate. Like the trigger limit of if this is the first boat this turn, by turn number they mean um, the shop phase and the in battle phase are different. Yep. And that's our turn 11 50-50 level 3 leopard. And to add a little bit on top, we get another 50-50. And yeah, we're just annihilating teams now. We're on because we're on 4 trophies with 1 life on turn 12, we're going to be playing like really bad teams as well. So all of these teams are going to face like a large overkill. Yeah, here we don't hit Pterodon or Mushroom, so usually the Mushroom's better than Pterodon if you have the option, because it takes up less board space. You can see someone trying to play A-Bomb, but it doesn't work the best. I think A-Bomb builds are pretty decent, but not nearly as broken as this. Yeah, most of your turns are spent rolling down for Mushroom and Pill, so because you do need to hit the 14 rolls, so there's going to be a lot of rolls where you just do nothing. Yep, and now we have 4 50-50s by turn 13. Pretty decent, and 75 damage worth of snipes from Leopard, and this another 75 from Sleipnir. You can see my buff targets here. My only tier 6s that I'm using, not as targets, are Yeti and Pterodon. But it is pretty decent if you Konpeito into Yeti still, because it helps you build other new Nessies. But the rest of my guys are just like percent scalers, like Sleipnir, Leopard, Highland Cow, Hydra, and then Gorilla and Reindeer have like repeated protection equipments, and Bakunal is just really good. He doesn't really need the stats, but the other guys do demand stats. This turn, I decide not to lock a pill. One, because, well, I can't get another Nessie if I do that. And second, because I, I just need a mushroom first. And you can tell there I skipped a Pterodon because I need to find mushroom on this guy. Now that I only have 2 board slots open. We do find it. And we're just rolling down for either pill. Yeah, we sell the hamster here because I wanted to get aggressive and try to get a full board of 50-50s, but doesn't work out. I don't find the pill, which means we're going to lose 6 rolls next turn. So probably not worth risking it, but still pretty good. There's the lionfish. And now we're just rolling down because we're probably not killing this Nessie anymore. We're just getting its rolls. And this team should be strong enough. It's the 3 snipers all at 50-50 in level 3. So this is like 75 damage, 75 damage. Lionfish is 9 times 6, I think 54 damage. Pretty decent team. Um, that's the oldest one I have. Uh, you can see a game here without Stoat. Uh, yeah. So in this one, I try to play big tier one, like big level three tier one more heavily. I'm like buying this fourth chipmunk. Oh, apologies. Good. Stoat is just really, really good. If you've ever thought about the math, it is more efficient than rolling if you have an empty slot on your board. Um, I think Stoat is just like a must put in every pack. Uh, so yeah, keeping early lives here. Really don't want to be losing turns 3 or 4. That'd be real bad. Um, yeah, so this is an Elcon 5. This is the whole point of playing for the big tier 1. Uh, Problem with this strat is usually you do lose a decent amount of lives. Uh, but like usually seaweed is trying to help you prevent that, but it is still like quite difficult. Yeah, we lose this turn anyways. Kind of unfortunate. Uh, but we do get compensation in the form of 6 gold on our chipmunk, so I can't feel too bad. Also, Kappa's in the pack so that you can just play Kappa Pill and get a massive tempo spike of a 14-16. And the tier 3s are all pretty good, so it's like even more than that. And when you get to 3 lives with 2 trophies on turn 7, usually the pool will give you easier teams. Uh, we straight up sell our Swan there. I didn't calculate the gold, I was just playing off feel. It could have been bad. Wasn't thinking too hard about it. Uh, yeah, and you can just see there the massive Kappa value you can get. So right now we have 15 gold, or we have 16 gold, 15 gold on this. This is like a total of 31 gold by turn 9. This is really a spot where you want to be. And we tier up into Yeti. Um, because our main problem was like we're not getting enough roll gen at this point. By the way, you don't freeze stoats. That makes it less efficient than rolling. This seems pretty beautiful. Really like to get a shop scaling video down. Get a whole 50-50 shop. That's probably like the main thing that beats this sort of build. Although it is hard because you don't get the same amount of levels. I rebuy the elk here. Also, notice that I skipped the hamster because I already have a Yeti. Somehow we still like win this turn. That team looked real strong, but that's just the power of just having Nessie rolls. Here we go. We find the mushroom. Now we just need 2 more levels, and our this guy is still giving like infinite gold. Also, what is this team? How how did this guy achieve this build? How is he alive? Oh, something must have went wrong there. Yep, blobfish for XP. Yeah. This game is weirder. Usually I find Nessie 3 earlier than this, but it's fine. Especially when we're winning turns just by playing like regular Nessie instead of trying to play for the pill high roll. Um, these seaweeds are kind of pointless, but They're just there for fun. Now we're just looking for a pill. We have to take a 5 gold pill. Kind of unfortunate, but we have so much gold it doesn't really matter. I'm not sure if this Yeti was worth. Probably not. I was just thinking I had too much gold I would do nothing with this turn once I get the 50-50 because you can only pill once per turn. So let's say you have a mushroom pill, you get your 50-50, and you find another set of mushroom pill, it doesn't work because of the in-game trigger, because it's the only first boat this turn. Um, there we go. Yeah, pretty stupid looking board here. Um, we get none of our units to a actually OP unit, but we still do have 3 50-50s. So even though this guy's team is like really cool and does an insane amount of damage, we still just win. That's what's nice about one of the 50-50s being layered under the outer boat is that like it can dodge a lot of snipes. Let's see. And then this is our third game. Going to be, I wonder how this game turns out. So I think this isn't a Stoat or Elk game, I don't think. I don't remember exactly. Let's skip through this early game. Yeah. But I'm like, the way I play is very like spamming rice, spamming levels, spamming stoats. Um, just always passing gold into next turn. I mean, it gets punished sometimes. Like we lose against a pretty weak board here, um, and it would have been nice to keep a life. Yeah, turns 5, 6, like 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the turns you don't really want to lose. While like 7 and 8, you're fine with losing because you can greed even harder by buying avocados and crows and all sorts of XP. Kind of ridiculous we get a win that turn by while we're holding 2 tier ups. Yep. And then we play tier 5 lotto, we hit a hamster, which is above average. Can't complain about that. We are still buying tempo stuff like oyster mushroom Niala. Get 2 Nialas. I think it's still pretty decent. Like you don't have to lose these turns. Um, this was a kind of unfortunate one to lose. Lost to the 50-50 mana snipe. If it hits the weasel, we win the turn. But unfortunately, not that lucky. Got to take the crow. Yeah. Now we are about to get infinite gold next turn. We took 3 avocados, I think. Yeah, and then we have Birdie's team again. Do not know how we managed to build this one. Yeah, this is a pretty decent turn. Just Nessie 2.6 plus the Pterodon out of nowhere. And I think we win this turn. Yeah. Yeah, that is quite a sight. Sometimes the game just lets you win for no reason. Yeah. Now we're trying to get enough hamster stuff. Uh, in reality, I knew I was only getting 10 rolls at like, or like 9 rolls at maximum. So I probably should have just taken avocado and then played for building a better board next turn. Also, winning that turn is kind of ridiculous. Yeah. So somehow we're at 7 trophies with this. Uh, so here it's like looking like we might not even be able to get uh, the Nessie set up online. Also, you can see there I'm playing hamster resets to squeeze 2 extra rolls. So if you stack a level 2 hamster on a level 1, it will give you back the 2 rolls from the level 1 hamster. But turn 11, we get our 2 50/50s. Pretty decent timing. Better than last game, at least. Yeah, and you can see here that second Nessie dodged a decent amount of snipes. Surprisingly close. That team is going to be really scary once they get a Wolverine. Yeah. Yeah, Highland Cow is also pretty funny. It's just 2 50/50s because the Golden Retriever is also going to be a 50/50. So, yeah, once you get to the point where you have the 2 50/50s, you're not usually scared of anything. I know, like, sometimes you still can lose if you manage to not find any mushrooms or pills, and then your board just caps out at 2 50/50s. But it's like pretty rare. Most of the gameplay now just consists of rolling down, looking for melon, Konpeito, uh, and mushroom and pill. So this lollipop team is insanely strong. They take our 50/50, but like it's not even close. Like we still had 2 50/50s in the back. Um, so here we won't spend too much time on this game because I do lose it, and that doesn't. It's pretty similar to the last games. But let's see what went wrong. Um, we're going to start on turn 9 here. Yep, we get a 1.5 hamster, find a Nessie. Everything looks nice. We have 4 lives on turn 9. We're like pretty set up into getting the whole build working. But lose that by 1 HP feels pretty bad. And we just don't seem to find the units we need to. This Yeti, 4 rolls compared to the hamster's 2 rolls. And also they're... Actually, yeah, it just is 4 rolls. Just a better unit. Makes sense to take that. Yeah. So in hindsight, I'm wondering if I was... Also, I accidentally rolled past a pterodon there. That was... I was a little unsure about that because even though we don't have Nessie 3 yet, maybe it's still worth playing. I don't know. We just never managed to get the build online. Uh, Also, I forgot to take a pill bug there, but it's besides the point. We take a pill bug on board here, looking for mushroom, find the mushroom. So right now, I'm feeling pretty good. I have 3 lives. I have my level 3 Nessie. And then I run into this team, and both my giant units get destroyed by 2 peanuts. Feels pretty bad. And we can see I do get my 50/50s by turn 13. So I'm feeling pretty good. This is a little scary seeing the Lynx wipe my whole board, but obviously we still have our giant units. Uh, yeah, so we're in a super good spot here, but I just never seem to find enough mushroom pill stuff. Yep. So I finally find a mushroom. I don't find a pill this turn. Kind of unfortunate. And we run into this goose team that 2 shots my Nessie, which felt pretty bad. And the Manticore does heaps of damage to my Nessie. And somehow, on turn 14 with 2 50/50s, we lose. So now it's getting scary. We're on lethal. And I'm basically just rolling down for pill. and we miss. We hit end turn, praying somehow we get there. And even though we have level 3 reindeer, we run into front baguette with 50 attack and just get immediately destroyed. And our second 50-50 gets traded by their 50-50. We just get outscaled and lose. We just did not set up the build fast enough. So that is one of the lost cons. And for our final game here, see what goes on. So I'm very unsure about this duck guy. I feel like you lose a lot of tempo by um, forcing the duck cell onto your pets. Like we're running a 3 squad on turn 3. We're basically sacrificing the round for no reason. I'm wondering if it's just higher EV to just keep duck on board. Obviously, it feels weird now that we have 4 chipmunks, but just seems like you're sacrificing a round for no reason. And lives are going to be very important to you when you're trying to run this build. You can die easily. When I first started trying to run this, I just died the first 2 times, and it worked out the third. This game, we're going to take an early crow, and we're just going to hold it. This avocado should definitely be frozen. Don't be a noob like that. You want to be taking as many avocados as possible on your odd turns. Sorry, even turns. Turn 6, turn 8. Everywhere besides like probably turn 10, because you need to roll for Nessie and Hamster, and they're more prevalent on shop tier 5. Uh, so yeah, it's a pretty beautiful game. We hit Nessie and Hamster on turn 7. You should probably, if you have a unit that can scale, you probably want to buff your Hamster. Usually pretty good. Um, and Rice Chipmunk is kind of ridiculous. I definitely should have riced um, my crow before doing this. Kind of a not smart move by me. Just to freeze roll my rices seems kind of dumb. Uh, oh yeah, I just buy a stoat into next turn, just for even more chances of hitting more Nessies. And we are massively ahead. We have level 2 Nessie, and now we have level 2.6. I think this is the fastest I've gotten this much of the build set up. We still have so much gold saved in all of the rices. And Bigfoot's generating even more rolls. Pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it's turn 9, and I have level 3 Nessie. Definitely the fastest I've gotten level 3. Um, yeah. Akunawa giving us a win there. Yeah, now this is a really weird spot because obviously we don't have Mushroom or Pterodon, and we can't really roll for it. So we're just going to be buying Hamster levels because we already have Nessie level, and taking avocados when we can. We're going to buy this Pillbug on board because once we find Mushroom or Pterodon, we want it to work. Yeah, these buy-sell teams have been really strong recently. Definitely should try that out. I'm surprised people run it in standard. You usually see it way more in wild. Also, I freeze roll this Hamster for some reason. I don't know why. Definitely should have just combined and taken it on board. I think I just sell, yeah. And then I hit Yeti. So, yeah, we're generating like infinite gold. This guy's team is also very strong, but it's no match for the two 50-50s. Or actually, it does get past both 50-50s, which is kind of crazy, but Our hamsters managed to clean it up. One of the most satisfying sounds. The 12 rolls. Yeah, we're just looking for pill now. The game basically plays itself from here. More of the same stuff. We'll just let it play. This is when I was experimenting with popcorn, or sorry, experimenting with cornucopia. It is not very good. I thought it had higher odds to hit more conpietos and mushrooms, but I think having a melon is just very important, and you don't want to get like horrible perks like popcorn. Yeah, we rolled 27 times this turn. A little ridiculous. Hard to miss with that many rolls. Yeah, and we're miles ahead of any turn 13 team, or most turn 13 teams besides other Nessie role players. Yeah, this is this is 4 50/50s with 54 damage here and extra like um what is it? Like 75/75 in stats from the Hydra and then three sleepy ailments. It's just a disgustingly strong team. Um, yeah, and then some occasions you will self hamster once you get to your you want to get your fourth 50/50. But yeah, I don't freeze mushroom anymore because obviously we're down to our last Nessie. We're just trying to find Konpeito for this last guy, um, and then we'll close out the game. Yeah, there my 54 damage from the lionfish doesn't even get to activate. Unfortunately, we get Pterodon from our Konpeito, which is kind of funny. Oh, this is Loser Juice's um, hurt spam team. Sorry, push build. It's not even close to winning. Yeah. So those are the teams. That's the build. That's how you run it. Um, most of the credit goes towards Infected Player. I'll leave his channel in the description. He uh, posted a video about this, and I took his pack. I optimized it a pretty decent amount, and I think it's probably the strongest thing you can do in customs, comparative to how consistent it is. Like there might be stronger, like 50/50 shop high rolls, but I think this is the build if you want to win. All right.